Okay, well, let's welcome Cindy Scott here to the summit. And Cindy is a coach. She's actually a coach's coach. Did I say that right?
Good.
Okay, cool. And she's the founder of Bridges Coaching. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Cindy here to the summit is I think it's always helpful for us as real estate agents, as realtors, to get perspectives from other experts outside of our industry. And Cindy and I were just talking about her 3 tips. And it's interesting because it's so relevant for real estate agents. So I'm really happy that you're here today, Cindy.
Thanks. Thanks for the invitation.
Sure. So like I said before, it's like we're just having a cup of coffee. You're going to give me 3 tips on how to help my business. So we'll just kind of go through each one by one. So
Great.
Your tip number 1.
Okay. Well, I want to start by talking just a quick minute about what coaching is. Coaching is taking someone from where they are to where they want to go. So it applies to every industry. In the real estate industry, coaching takes a person looking for a home to a homeowner. And so we're looking like, how can we make that happen best for the person? And like any industry, if we can stand out as different than the next guy, then we get positive feedback. We get, if someone hears of somebody who's looking for something that they've had solved, they pass on the tip that, hey, my guy was great, try him or her. And so I love the idea of, like you said, bringing outsiders into your summit, because I think there are things that are industry-wide, that are people-wide, that that coaching can help, and I'm sure other marketing or whatever people like that can help as well. So on your notes there, coaching takes people from where they are to where they want to be. They want to be a homeowner. If you stand out as a coaching realtor, you will have succeeded in taking your clients to where they want to be. I have a thing about coaching is different than consulting, and that in consulting, you're telling someone what they should do. If I hire a consultant to an image consultant, they're going to come and say, oh, change your hair color or do this or whatever. When you hire a coach, they're going to come and ask you what's going on with you. Where do you want to go and how do you want to get there? And I think realty is a really great way to apply coaching, because as a realtor, I want to come in and say, what are you looking for in a home? And not tell you, you know what you really need? You need this and that. No one, anytime someone says, you know what you really need, what happens? An instant wall comes up.
Yeah, resistance.
I'll tell you what I need, and you want to go somewhere else. And so if we can come in and help the person even know what they want or what they need, then we can provide something that might not be happening in real estate agencies. So the very best marketing strategy you can have is to make sure your clients feel well served. That's just across the board. So the first tip I have there is have the heart of a coach. Make sure you put the client first. Like, it sounds simple, but unfortunately is not happening all over the place. So if you're nervous about being a new real estate agent, or if you are a long-time real estate agent and you need to check yourself right here, can I put the client first? You might have more real estate skills than you even know if you just are a people person and want to put the client first. You can use focusing techniques. Make sure when you're with them, you're really with them. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than you're doing something major like buying a house and your real estate agent is like on the phone with someone else, or I suppose
or texting or on the phone.
I mean, there might be a time when that was absolutely necessary and you say, excuse me, I'm closing a deal and I just heard from the bank or whatever. But for the most part, if you can set yourself apart simply by active listening, a big part of coaching, looking the people in the eye, not being distracted by what is all around, and hearing what they're saying, not trying to get across what you're saying. So they have a concern about the basement. I'm hearing that and addressing that instead of saying, but look at the roof, or, deflecting. Too many people are kind of half there, and this could be the tipping point that could take you as an agent from good to great, which, is where we all want to be. So kind of simple, but it could be really a big deal. Another point in Have the Heart of a Coach is let them tell you what they want. Ask questions and just let them talk. Sometimes they don't even know what they want until they keep talking. And if you start to hear things repeated or with emphasis, like, oh, that's a deal for them. The more you learn to listen, the more you can serve your clients well and stand out as different. This can be a really scary time. It's probably the biggest financial purchase that most people make. And if you can listen for what they're afraid of and reassure them, it can be a game changer. So they might be afraid of making a choice. They might be afraid of the paperwork. They might be afraid of what if I choose this option and I've decided, so helping them make the best choices and calming their fears can make, a huge difference. The next bullet point there, keep your own preferences in check. You may not care for fixer-uppers, but that may be their dream. Or you may see potential in a home, but they really want, a turnkey kind of a deal. It's so important that they feel you hear them and want to connect with them or coach them into their dream home. I was thinking about this whole process, and I think that finding a home is a little bit like dating.
Yeah.
We see one that looks interesting, or we use a service to show us ones we might like, but it's a very personal thing. What attracts you to one may not attract someone else. So what's a deal breaker, big deal to you, may not be an issue at all to someone else. So as a realtor, if you can listen and help them even understand what they like, it can change everything. When I was younger, I trained myself to look at Better Homes and Gardens. I'm a big fan of all kinds of improvement, and I trained myself to look at Better Homes and Gardens and say, why do I like that room? Why do I like that house? What do I like about the landscaping? What do I like about the layout? And if you can learn to ask those kind of questions of your clients, you can learn what they love and therefore find a perfect match for them, like in dating. So do you think that's a good one, the dating analogy?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think we can always relate everything to dating,
Yeah.
You're working a deal, you're helping somebody, it's the same kind of thing. So I think that's a very good analogy.
So if you can help them along that very scary process, you could be that standout realtor that could make the difference. And people talk about you, etc. The second tip I have there is
before we move on, I just want to kind of clarify a couple things because I think that was really good. And I think the one thing that you say, and just so everybody knows, I have it here on the speaker page. There should be instructions there. The PDF that we're looking at is what Cindy had put together, so that's what we're talking about. And I think the one thing that you said is, don't tell people what to do. Don't make decisions for them. And I think as realtors, we fall into that trap. We make assumptions. So I think what you're talking about, it sounds simple, but it's so powerful just to let them tell you what they want because they want to share their story and they want to be heard.
Yes, it's just so true. And it's so easy to assume that because I wouldn't settle for this or want that everyone else should be that way. And it's so easy to just say, I want you to be aware that, this house doesn't have a this or that, or this house does have a this or that, because I know that's important to you. And just those simple things offer the honor of decision to the client instead of you deciding for them. I know you wouldn't want this house because it has this. What if they do want that house? Now you've made them feel bad for saying, well, actually, I would like a substandard home. And maybe it's just, maybe it's the simple thing of I'm looking at this super great house I like up on a hill right now, and it's got a view all 4 directions. It's up above everything else, but there's no bathroom on the first floor. This house is probably 200 years old. And so I haven't seen the inside. I don't know if it's a deal breaker, but if the realtor started talking it down to me, I would feel like, yeah, you're right. I'm probably not interested. But if the realtor said, you can get this house for a song and put double that into it, it would still be less than most houses around here. But look at this view. If she or he could hear that the view, location, it would, if they believed in my dream, it could make the difference to me purchasing that home or not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so back to our notes now that they know to find them. Develop a personal set of powerful questions. Don't just ask what they're looking for in a house. I think that's probably, most people probably do that. But if you can go one step further, have a checklist of predetermined questions that either you send out in advance or ask as you walk them through their journey. Include things common to real estate like the number of bedrooms, etc., but also things others may not think to ask, like whether the buyer is handy and would enjoy projects. Are you okay not being on the city water system? This house has got natural gas, but here's the benefit to that, So helping them by using questions, what's important to you, you can find the right fit. The more often and the quicker you find right fits, the better it is for you, the better it is for them, the more they talk it up. It's just a win. So I had a couple ideas to build your list of wonderful questions. You could do a survey of homeowners and ask them what characteristics about their home made the difference in the ones that they were buying. This also, people like to fill out surveys and because they feel like, you want my opinion? Thank you. You could, if in doing that, you could even get addresses of people. How soon would you might be looking for a new home? You could even get clients by asking for a survey. Consider showing clients styles of homes and asking them which they like and which they don't care for. I'm personally not a big fan of a split level ranch, so let's not waste time looking at those for me. And don't assume that they know the names of all the houses. Assume they know nothing. And say, do you like this Greek revival? You can tell it's a Greek revival because blah, blah, blah. They feel like value add. I'm learning about house styles. And, I never knew that. I do actually like that feature of this Cape Cod or whatever. Another bullet point that I had there, have a running list somewhere of possible questions. The more you can pull from the buyer about what they're looking for, the better you can meet their needs and the happier they will be and the more referrals you will get and so forth. Like we said before, people love to be listened to. So the more you can get them talking, the more they feel that you care for them and the more you'll better know what they're looking for, etc. Making them happy should be your primary objective. That's a good tip for dating too.
See, it all works.
It all goes back to that. Feedback is going to happen, and you can control that and make it good feedback by treating each client as a VIP. You might even be selling a home to, maybe not the highest budget home you've ever sold, but you don't know where that person's going to be in 10 years. You don't know who their father is. You don't know so much. Like if you treat each person, each client as though they were the VIP, it can lead to exponential connections for you just through the simple tip of listening. Okay, next bullet point, reassure them from there are no right or wrong priorities or preferences, and that you'll do your best to match their hopes with a good fit for them. I think sometimes people feel maybe awkward about sharing what they're this got to have a this, and to make them feel like you can share anything with me. You can tell me what your concerns are. You can tell me, financial concerns. Or let's have the more open we are, the better we'll both be served and be able to move forward. If this is their first home purchase, it can be really scary. You can assure them not only will you help them find a home they love, but you'll walk through all the paperwork with them and they can ask you any question. There are no dumb questions. I think that's really key because, if it's your first time, like you've done it a gazillion times, you know how the paperwork is going to go and all, how to get a loan or all those kind of things. And for them, it might be like, I don't know what to do. Will you hold my hand? And you can offer to hold their hand. If they have purchased before and there's some reason they don't want to stay where they are, you can help them into something that suits them better, and you will achieve something their current home didn't have, and that sets you apart once again. You're helping them, get somewhere. You're coaching them, taking them from one place to another, like the stagecoach. Serving them and putting them first really pays off for you in the end. And then our final tip, unless you had anything you wanted to say.
No, I think that was all good. I think the only thing I was going to say there is that everything that you went through, that's kind of the ideal way to help your client. And you made a comment about helping first-time buyers, which I think is really good. But I've also found in my experience that when I help clients that have been through a bad real estate experience, maybe they didn't have a realtor that didn't take care of them or didn't help them, by doing everything that you're saying, asking the questions and helping, that's a great way, again, to set yourself apart because you show that you care and you're being professional with all the questions.
And when you do that, you don't have to ask them for testimonial. They're all over social media saying, man, I had the best buyer's experience, blah, 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 which is what you do want, instead of, I can't believe my,
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is, horrible, which sets you back. So
right.
The third tip here, assist in refining their priorities. It's kind of like dating, I used to work at a college and I had one girl come to me and she said, 78. And I said, I don't know what you mean. She said, I have 78 characteristics on my list now for Mr. Wonderful. Wow. Well, good luck with that. And of course you want to have some standards when you're picking a date. And of course you want to have some standards when you're picking a home, but you might not be able to get all of them. And so if you can carefully craft the way that you offer the question for which of these are most important, it can be even an honoring experience in that ask. And I think that can change, it can soften the blow, kind of. So I took some time to write some questions, so I want to read them to you here. The bullet point says, the reality of your client getting everything they want in a home at the price they are willing to offer in the neighborhood of their choice is probably not very high. But if you can soften the blow by offering carefully phrased value statement options, they will feel empowered and honored. The difference would be saying, well, you're not going to get all that, so, and you might not say it nasty like that, but if that's in your heart, like, seriously, and for that much, I don't think so. And that can even be like really tricky if you're moving to a different part of the country, because the price of homes can be completely different. And so you move to a new place and you think, oh, I should be able to get all of this for that. And you could where you lived before. But in the new place, it's so important as a realtor that you don't laugh at them or you have that in your heart. Like, seriously, if we can honor them, they'll feel endeared. If we push them away or judge in any way, then they feel separated. So here's a couple I wrote. If there was a home available in the neighborhood you wanted, but the price was more than you hoped, could you find a creative way to come up with the extra funds, or would you prefer to remain solid in your budget goal? So I think that's a really nice way of saying, hey, I think you could get what you wanted if could you ask Grandpa? Or, if this is solid, no, there's no chance, then we're going to have to look elsewhere or, reduce something. If there was a home available with 3 bedrooms, with the 3 bedrooms you wanted, and the yard was good size like you hoped, but currently there are only 2 bathrooms, is that something you would consider? If you think ahead about the question, you need to ask so you can phrase them in a way that doesn't make them feel they are compromising something they really want or settling for a date. That wasn't really great, so back to the dating thing again. Like for some people, when you're dating, like tall, short, I don't care. But for some people, it's a deal breaker. So if you can learn that about your client, what are the deal breaker things? Okay, maybe we don't need to have the formal dining room. Or no, absolutely, that's a must, but we could give up, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now. You can give up the extra part of the garage or something. Another tool for refining priorities could be as easy as having them rank their top 5 hopes for their new home and then their second 5, etc. This process could be done individually or as a couple if 2 people are involved in the purchase. Having it done individually could give you an idea of what it would take for both to be excited about the purchase, while doing as a couple could iron out the kinks and clear goals prior to talking to you. Either way, it's a win for you to understand their priorities. I kind of like the idea of having them both rank their priorities, because then you can give, okay, I'm going to make sure that this person has these 2 things and that person has these 2 things. So I'm honoring both of them while I'm looking. Of course, you want to get, both top 5s and have a, perfect match, but I know it's not, it's not always possible. But sometimes even you can help them think outside of the box. But in the future, you could, add that formal dining room. I could see it going right here. So there's that hope of getting everything on the list. I threw in a little bonus at the end. Have fun with them. Laughter dissuades stress, and a home purchase is one of the most stressful things a person can do. If you can help them feel comfortable, they will feel much more personally cared for, and your referral rate will go through the roof without even trying. So that's my coaching tips for realtors. I hope that it helps. I hope that you get a lot more client connection where you feel like you're really listening and serving them. They feel truly cared for, and they come back and tell all their friends all about you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, everything that you talk about just fits so perfectly with what we're doing. And I like tip number 3, because we do run into that where we have a situation with a buyer and they're looking at a certain price point and we can't find everything that they like. So I think it's good to go back to kind of the drawing board and refine the priorities. And if you're helping a couple, believe me, you definitely want to get opinions from both of them, feedback from both of them, like you said. So I think that is really great and very, very helpful.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again for having me.
Well, I've got a bonus. I've got a bonus question for you.
Oh yes, bonus question.
Yeah, this is very easy. So because here it is, it's the middle of January 2016. I just want you to look back at your year 2015. Tell me something that you're most proud of, an achievement, a goal that you got, something that you went like, I got it. And it could be personal, it could be business, but something that you're proud of.
Well, that's a really cool question. This last year, I took my coach training. I've developed a curriculum myself, and I took it from me doing the formatting, which was, fantastic, to actually fantastic. And I had a professional designer work on, everything, and it's so much better. I'm a little embarrassed of what I sent out before because it was like not great. And so I feel like professionally I went up a couple notches with my design. Personally, I had my 4th grandchild this year, and that was really, So,
You don't look like a grandmother.
oh, thank you. That's great. I started when I was 15, and so did my daughter.
Well, that's great. Well, congratulations. That notebook looks amazing.
Oh,
It's
thank
very,
you.
very professional. So I'm so happy you could be here, Cindy. Thank you so much for helping, being a part of the summit. You know, you added a lot here today, so thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Enjoy your summit.
Okay.